Hey everybody, it is Kyle, and I'm coming to you from my basement today. So, on today's show, there's not a ton of sales to go over, but there are some. It's just been a little bit slower. It's always that way towards the first of the year. But I do also want to talk about some situations that come up when you're a reseller, and these are situations that, they suck. So, we'll be right back in a moment after the break and talk all about it. Okay, so what is it that I'm talking about? Let me just get to the point here on this. Um, I've had a few scenarios where there are things that you're really not planning on happening that happen. Okay, I've talked a little bit about packages getting lost or stolen, um, and I'm dealing with one of those right now. A nice coat that I sold to a woman, and had to ship it through a different carrier. And long story short, somebody stole the coat at some point. It's a really nice jacket, but they took a picture saying this is proof of delivery, and that's BS. That wasn't even my package, and it wasn't the person's home, their apartment. And they sent a picture of their apartment to show that it wasn't where that was. At least that's not where that picture was taken. So I've had a little run around with the shipping company, but it looks like they're going to see things my way, like I knew they would. They initially tried to shut me down. So stick to your guns on stuff like that. If you get things like that come up and they're trying to say, well, nope, you didn't fill everything out right or whatever, you missed a period at the end of a sentence on your application to get a refund for this, bullshit. Just keep pushing them, push harder. If they're not going to do it, ask to talk to their boss. I hate to be that way, but these people have a lot of stuff they're going through every single day. I'm not making excuses for them, but that's probably what's up and why they act that way. So just bear that in mind. But that's one of the things that really sucks is getting your packages lost or things get broken in shipment, stuff like that. So I've had it happen a couple of times. It really sucks, and it's just one of those things you got to deal with. So. All right, let me go into some things here that we've sold that haven't been really a great profit, and that's putting it nicely. Okay, I can tell you one right here. So when I first started this business, the original idea was going to be all about media. It was going to be DVDs, Blu-rays that are out of print, or even VHS. Maybe some music as well, CDs, that kind of thing, cassette tapes. Audiobooks. And so one thing that I found that sold pretty well were religious themed materials, whether it be audiobooks or whether it be DVDs, videos, or even CDs and cassettes of audio tracks. So not all of them. You got to really watch what you're picking out. But when it comes to kids, Sunday school type stuff or videos on DVD, usually you're going to make a little bit of money on that. But not always, and that's why we're bringing this one up first. This is a Kids Praise Sunday School Songs DVD, and it ended up finally selling for, I think it was $12.99. Yeah, $12.99. They paid shipping, so that was the typical shipping charge was $4.47 for media. It doesn't cost very much for media mail. Then there's sales tax they paid. But then my transaction fees were $3.33, and then the shipping label $4.47. Walked away with $9.66, which is not very much. The good news on this thing is it only cost $2, so we still made some money. It's just not where I want to be. I don't really want to be making $7.50 off something, going through all the time and trouble. So just not a great sale. Just one of those things, though. Sometimes you're going to have that. You live and you learn in this business. So far, that's what I'm seeing, and this is certainly no exception to that rule. Let's just do another one real quick while I'm on here looking at these sales that really weren't so great. Let me take a look here. Okay, here's one right here. Again, I've sold a few coffee mugs that have done really well. And when you hear how much this one sold for, you're gonna be like, oh man, yeah, that did really good. Um, it's a Disney's Lilo and Stitch Silver Buffalo Big Ceramic Mug. It has Angel and Scrump on it, as well as Lilo and Stitch. And those are all characters from the movies and TV shows and all that jazz. I thought it would do really well, just simply because I knew the Lilo and Stitch movie was coming out when I purchased this and everything. Um, but by the time you take fees and shipping, because these mugs tend to be pretty heavy, um, you really got to lean on the heavy end of the shipping. So if you're looking at a shipping range to ship this thing in the continental United States, and the low end is $5 and the high end shipping is like $14, you're going to want to choose towards the high end. Okay. You can choose just a little under it to kind of bring it down a little bit, but you could end up paying that high end shipping. So beware of that if you're covering shipping. So on this one, it sold for $24.99. They paid $2.44 sales tax, whatever. Then that comes back down to $24.99. Transaction fees $3.88. Shipping label $7.87. And it didn't go that far. I'm here in the Midwest. This just went to Tennessee. I mean, it's because it was heavy. There's no other reason. I packed things like this that are breakable, fragile, really, really well. But that's not what's costing the money. It weighs a lot. And then the ad fee for is 82 cents. So I come out with $12.42. Well, paid $4 for this mug. So, $8.42 is not the greatest profit and not really where I want to be when it comes to selling these things, because it's just not worth the time. I mean, that's all the more there is to it. So you just gotta be aware of those things and be prepared. And then the real stinker, I'm just going to go with the bottom three here, or top three of the bottom. This one would be a Leslie Ann Ivory 1,000 piece puzzle of a cat called Blossom. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, the same thing goes with games and puzzles. Anything that's oddly shaped or anything that has some heft to it, you may consider just having the customer pay for shipping, because you just don't know how much that's going to end up costing you. And I remember this one, and really what got us on it was the size of the box and everything. It wasn't the weight. Puzzles don't weigh a whole lot, unless they're like made of wood or something. But general cardboard style puzzles don't weigh a whole bunch. But the sizing of the boxes and stuff, you can start getting into some bigger boxes to ship it in. So on this particular one, it sold for $19.99, which is great. I only paid $1.50 for this puzzle, so we're still looking okay on this. But then you get into the shipping label, $10.70. $10.70 because it was going to California. Yeah. So I underestimated what the shipping charge, what I should add to the price in order to cover shipping, and I got burnt on it. So that along with the transaction fees of $3.17 and the ad fee of 66 cents, the order earnings on it were $5.46. Well, I paid $1.50 for it, so we walked away with only about $4. And that's not what you want to do, man. That's not what you want to do if you can avoid it. So just beware of those things. All right, some other things that kind of suck as far as being a reseller that'll come up that you're probably not really planning on, but they come up occasionally. And that the next one would be the scams. Okay, so let me combine that with returns, because I've noticed there is kind of a return scam situation. And from what I've read online in some of the groups that I'm in and stuff like that, a lot of it has to do with this whole idea of trying to get you to refund them some of the money that they paid for it. Okay. And a prime example of that would be one that I recently did. But I can tell you, let me tell you an older one first. I sold a pair of shorts to a woman, and she was claiming she was getting these for her husband for his birthday or whatever. And they were kind of a light color, like a cream color, and really cool shorts and everything. But she bought these, and then she had them and everything, and gave her good feedback. She gave me good feedback. And then she came back in about a week and said, oh, he hates these shorts. I want to return them. And I said, well, I mean, I don't usually do returns because I don't do returns usually. But, if you ship them back to me and they look exactly like they did when I shipped them to you, I'll go ahead and do that. But you're going to have to pay to ship them back. Because to me, that, oh, he didn't like them. Well, that's on you. That's not on me. And so guess what happened? Nothing. She never did anything. So what I'm imagining happened is either it's some sort of scam to try and get money out of me, or it's a situation where they damaged these shorts somehow and were trying to get refunded for them. Okay. So when I told her to go ahead and pay to ship it back and all that, and she even came back and said, oh yeah, I'm going to ship it back. And she never shipped anything back. If she did, it got lost in the mail. But she didn't. So, and that's not the only time I've had that happen. Most recently would be a very similar situation where I sold a part for a Samsung PowerBot robot vacuum. Okay. So when my wife and I went on that trip to Omaha, Nebraska to meet up with some Midwest resellers, we went thrifting and we were in one store and I came across this Samsung PowerBot robot vacuum, and I know they're good and I know they sell for a lot, and I started looking it up and oh my God, I mean, it sells for a lot. If you got that sucker running and it's in good shape, man, you're going to make some jackbones on that. So it was $50, which I wasn't crazy about. But they did have half off, so it got it down to $25, I believe. And it looked complete, I mean, everything was in there that I could see, all the power supplies, the dock, everything. And so I was like, man, this is really a good deal. We should get this, and maybe we just might even want to just keep it, I really did think that was a possibility. So we got it home and everything, and I hooked it up, and it came on, and I was like, oh, sweet, man. I had it hooked to the app on my phone, and it would come off the dock and stop immediately. Wouldn't go any further. And the power lights would go off. I'm like, God, what the hell is going on with this thing? Well, there was a piece missing. It was the battery. And on those things, those batteries are expensive. Even the third-party ones are about $120. So I had to calculate, do I want to invest in this and pay $150 for this to keep for myself? Or to sell I just didn't think it would be worth selling for what I would have to recoup the money and make a little. So I decided to go ahead and just tear the thing apart and get the valuable parts out of it that I saw that are selling. And that's what I did. And I've sold probably about 5 or 6 sales of parts for this thing. It's more than paid for it by now. Okay. But one part that I had is the brush cover that goes underneath. And it's not as simple as it sounds. There is a brush, just like any vacuum, that rotates and picks up junk off the carpet. But this one, it has metal teeth on the sides of it, of the insides, the little sections of the brush. And that is to like cut hair or cut things, so they don't wrap around it and stick on the brush and tighten it up. But that's going to happen anyway, because I cut a lot of crap off it when I took it apart. So yeah, I had that for sale. And the way I did this deal is I took all the parts that I cut out of this and I divided I have maybe like 8 parts, and I divided the cost of the vacuum. So, came out to $2.97 per part, with taxes and everything. And I mean, that's pretty good, nothing to be upset about. So I'd sold, like I said, a lot of different parts of this thing. This guy bought this, and everything seemed fine. Didn't seem like there were any issues with the sale at all. He was excited to be able to get this part. And even I went and put, good feedback for him when he received it and everything. And he said, yeah, thanks, I got it. And everything was good. He ended up buying it, let's see, $1,709 plus he paid for shipping. So $2,746 was the total. Then you take off tax, $1.56 off. Transaction fees were $3.89. The shipping label $609, which isn't bad. I mean, it's not a real heavy thing. I shipped it out to Pennsylvania. And then the ad fee, 82 cents. So $15.10, and then I made, take $3 off that. I made about $12 or so. So this guy comes back, and he never reached out to me or anything like that. He comes back and starts a return, and this is this is his comment on the return. And I just want you to really just think about this when I say this. So. The buyer started a return. I got that message, and I said, okay. So I go and I go look at it. The return reason, just didn't like it. Like, what? Like, I mean, it's not a pair of shorts, It's not a pair of headphones. It's not a T-shirt. It's not a backpack. It's not something that you either like or don't like. It's a part. You replace a part inside of something, and it either works or it doesn't. If he would have come back and said it doesn't work, or I ordered the wrong part, that's a little bit different, Even still, he should know enough before he buys it. But to say just didn't like it when buying a replacement part for for something like this, it's ridiculous. So I went ahead and sent him a message back, and I just said, hey, I saw that you started a return on this, and I see that you're saying you just didn't like it, and I'm a little bit confused. Let me see what my response to him is, because it's just ridiculous. Yeah, he was really. We talked a lot when he bought this thing. Let me see if I can find this deal. I responded to him and I just said, I'm confused because, you purchased this thinking it was the correct part for your thing. I don't know how you could either like it or dislike it. It either works or it doesn't work, or it's broken or it's not broken. Liking or disliking a part that goes in an appliance is not a valid excuse. So what I think this is I think this is a scam scenario. Now, I don't know if this is a reseller or something like that. I don't know what's going on exactly. But just didn't like it is not a good enough reason to return something like this. Other things, I can almost accept it. A part for an appliance, no. So I said I'll refund him if he can ship it back to me and it's in the exact same condition as it was when I shipped it to him. And I do have photographs. And I haven't heard a word back. He started this. When did he start doing this return? It's a few days ago. But yeah, I just got a real kick out of that. Like, dude, what the hell are you talking about? Yeah, he started this return. Yeah, like 3 days ago. Yeah, pretty crazy. Yeah. Anyway. So that's kind of funny. I haven't heard another word from him. I think it's a scam. He's just trying to get me to give him some of the money back. Maybe he feels like he paid too much, or maybe it's some sort of other scam. But those things come up, man. You got to focus up and pay attention, because these people are out there, and I've had more than just these two instances I've talked about where they're trying to do this to you. So be smart, be aware. With that particular company I was talking about earlier, the shipping company, when I was talking about lost or damaged packages, I always make sure if I have to ship with that company again, with that agent or that shipping provider, if I have to ship with them again, I take photographs of any package I ship out through them. I'm not going to dick around with that anymore, because the photo they sent was so blurry. I'll put the photo in the photo link that I put in this podcast episode, but the photo was so blurry, and it looked absolutely nothing like one of my packages. It was an Amazon package. They took a photo of leaning up against the wall around a corner, because it had all the blue tape around it and all that. And even though I do ship in used Amazon boxes, sometimes I get a lot of that tape off and stuff. Plus, none of the other labels and stuff that I put on the boxes was on there that you could see. So it was bullshit, you know? So you got to stop and you got to think and be smart about these things, because there are assholes out there trying to rip you off, okay? Whether it be the shipping company you're using or this person who bought this from me, okay? All right, so let's go into some orders that hopefully are a little bit better, although nothing's been a total and complete knockout sale recently. I've had a couple real good ones, but I'll tell you, I'll leave one for the end of the deal. And really, yeah. All right, so another one. Let's see. Let me take a look at this one real quick, because I think this one was, it's not a great sale. I'm not going to even bring that one up. Yeah, I do have 3 great sales that happened, but there's bad news on one of them. So I'm just going to start with one that I know is good. Actually, there's bad news on 2 of them, 2 out of the 3. It must be January, all right. All right, so this one is a Risk Halo Wars Collector's Edition board game. So it's the board game Risk, but it's designed with the Halo Wars game in that universe, okay? So you play it just like you play Risk, but it's Halo design. Yeah, I mean, I had this thing. I bought this at this one particular thrift store that we go to, or we would go to, because they have half off the first Saturday of every month. And we would go there in the winter and buy this. I think I bought this thing way back. Yeah, I bought this thing a year ago. Or no. Wait. No, I didn't buy it a year ago. That's baloney. I didn't buy it a year ago. Let me see here. I bought this thing. Yeah, I bought this thing in April of last year. So, 8 to 9 months before it sold. But I didn't pay a ton for it. I ended up paying, because it was a half off day and all that, I ended up paying $6 for it. So that's not very bad. Pretty good deal. It was complete. Everything was there. It was in great shape. They ended up buying it from me for $52.24. Okay. Shipping, again, you got to watch shipping. Luckily, this one was only in Chicago, so it only cost me $7.17. eBay took their big old chunk, $7.71, and the ad fee was $1.73. So I walked away with $35.63. You take $6 off. So really made about not quite $30. So not a bad deal at all. I mean, definitely worth my time. I didn't have to think a whole lot about it. I just took pictures and put it up for sale. I did ship it through that same company I'm talking about that has lost and or broken packages. So I took pictures of this thing before I shipped it out, because I'm not going to put up with that shit anymore. Anyway, they're very happy to have it. They left very good feedback. They were super excited to get it. And so that was really cool. I love selling stuff to people that they want and they're happy to get, even paying whatever it is that it costs. All right, and the next one is a pair of Jordan Why Not 0.3 SE Flash Crimson men's tennis shoes. Pretty wild looking shoes, man. But I came across these at I think it was at a thrift store. No. I found these at a garage sale. That's right. I found these at a garage sale because it was July. And everything was right about them. I mean, they sold for good money. They don't sell for outrageous, not in the hundreds. But, they're priced pretty good pricing. And they're relatively cheap. I mean, I think I paid $10 for these things. And look, it only took 4 to 5 months for them to sell. Right around there, about 5 months. It's not bad. Not a bad deal. These babies sold, let's see. They bought these, and shipping was something they had to pay, because they had to pay through eBay This is something I don't like also that eBay does. And this is something that I'll get into complaining about here in a second. But something that's really frustrating about it is when you have certain shoes, since these are Jordans, they have to be authenticated. You don't even have a choice. You can't say, no, I don't want them authenticated. I'll just sell them, because there's been so many assholes out there faking this stuff. So this guy who bought these from me is in New Jersey, and he paid $79.99 for them, and then he had to pay the shipping to the authenticator. They check it out and everything and pass it, and then it ships on to him. So he had to pay $30 shipping, almost half of what it costs for the shoes. So anyway, he paid $110 basically. So $79.99 was what I was going to get out of it. $11.88 transaction fees, shipping label didn't cost me anything. Ad fee $2.40. $65.71 is what I walk away with, minus $10 that I paid for them. So man, $56 I'm set to make on these. Well, guess what? The authenticator did not pass them. Now, he said that they are authentic. They definitely declared these are the authentic Jordan Why Not 0.3 SE Flash Crimson shoes. The issue is that they were listed as new without box, which they are, by the way. They are. I remember buying them and the people I bought them from, and they said they were only tried on, and you could see there's no tread worn off. I mean, they weren't even dirty on the bottom. Nothing. You can look at the pictures of them. So I know they were new. There's zero wear on them, no stains, nothing. But they said they're not new. So I'm getting them shipped back to me, and I'm going to lose the sale. I'm going to have to chunk over this money back to this guy, and that just blows, man. Why would they not give me an option to reach out to the customer and say, hey, they couldn't authenticate these shoes, but they couldn't say that they were new. They did authenticate them. They're the correct shoe. So can I make you some sort of deal to ship them on to you? Would you take them for $5 less? Probably would be more than happy to take them. But now I'm in a situation where they're going to ship these suckers all the way back to me, and the customer doesn't get their shoes they bought. I'm just going to get stuck giving them all the money back, which is fine. I don't know if I'm going to get burnt on the authentication shipping money for $30. I sure shit hope not. But I'll put them back up for resale, and I'll just say that they're used like new. But it's stupid, man, because it's just, I don't know. eBay's big thing is they're claiming that they're helping the customer, but that's not helping the customer. Okay, that's screwing the customer over, and it's screwing over your other customer, which is me, the reseller. So nothing I can do about it. I'll see how it goes. I'll update you guys once I know what kind of damage I'm looking at here on these things. All right, and then the last thing's another bad story. It's a Chicago Cubs striped Seymour featherweight polo. This is a Johnny O polo. Really nice shirt. Brand new, still with tags on it. $150 shirt because it's a very rare Cubs logo from the 60s. But yeah, that sucker sold for $60. Okay, I paid $6 for this shirt. I remember finding this shirt and being pretty jazzed about it. $6 I paid for this shirt. So $60 is a great sale. $60. Let's see. Transaction fees. The eBay deals were $4.05. Transaction fees. Yeah. Long story short, I didn't have the shirt. We can't find it. I have no idea where it is. We had it in inventory, and it even states where it is in the inventory, but it's not there. My wife and I both have looked high and low for this thing. We know we've seen it. I know that I put it in a plastic bag and labeled it and put it on the inventory shelf, but it's not here. No idea where it is. We've torn this place apart looking for it. So I ended up having to cancel that sale. So like I say, guys, man, it's just been really a crappy month. January Started out great. I sold a lot of stuff on the 1st of January, and then it's just been downhill ever since. But, I mean, these are the things you deal with as a reseller, man. You have to be ready to take a punch in the teeth every once in a while, because it's coming, whether or not you like it. So on these return things, we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. I don't think anything's going to happen with that part from that vacuum cleaner. I know the shoes are coming back for sure. Pause. I don't know what's going to happen with the vacuum cleaner. I know the shoes are coming back for sure. So I'll see what the damage is on those. But I highly doubt the PowerBot brush cover part is coming back. If it does, better not be broken, because that'll be bullshit. But I don't think they're going to pay to ship it back to me from Pennsylvania. I highly doubt it, because I think it's a scam. I think he's just trying to rip me off. Anyway, those are the things you got to deal with, folks. Those are the things I've learned to deal with in this business, and it's just, there's not much you can do about it. You got to grin and bear it sometimes. You will lose money over crap like this sometimes. You just got to be attentive. You got to focus up, especially when you're shipping with companies you don't normally ship with, especially when you get these return requests for, I just don't like it, for a part for a vacuum. Well, man, I just didn't like the way that part looked when I put it in my vacuum. Yeah, it works fine. It works fine. I just don't like it. Like, what the fuck is that? Anyway, all right, guys. You guys take it easy. I'll be back at you here in a couple weeks with a new episode. The last episode of Dad Snark Podcast is a good one. Go check it out. I'll put the link in the notes. Keep on reselling. Keep on keeping on. Reach out to me if you need to. And, yeah. Thanks for listening.